The data is in. And spoiler alert, yes, Ontario home prices are down, but don't get too excited just yet. Because what's happening out there right now, it's messy. You got listings sitting for months, others selling in just under a week, and some homes are slashing prices by 100,000, 150, even 200,000, while others literally down the street are holding firm and sitting at 2024 prices. One headline says the market's back. The other says brace yourself for impact. And you're probably thinking, what the heck is going on? Lucky for you, we're cutting through all that noise and giving you the truth minus the fluff. Because let's be real, I don't have time for filler words and storytelling to make me feel warm and fuzzy. I want the facts like I'm sure you would too. So let's get into it, shall we? I'm Linda Ragona, one of the Ragona sisters, and around here, we keep it real. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe because I'm breaking down the chaos behind the headlines. Let's get into some hardcore facts. The roller coaster ride will continue, with over 400 billion in Canadian mortgages are set to renew in 2026. Most of them are locked in ultra low pandemic rates. That's not just the number, guys. That's hundreds of thousands of families about to go from 1.5% to 4.5% overnight. It will be a year to really watch, but let's talk about right now, shall we? Let's start with the numbers. In August of 2025, TRREB reported over 5,200 home sales across the Greater Toronto Area. That's up by 2.3% year over year. Good news, right? Not so fast. Well, I guess it all depends on who you ask. New listings surged by 9.4%, meaning we've got way more inventory, but fewer buyers actually competing. And prices, they're still sliding. The average selling price last month was just over $1,022,000. That's actually down by 5.2% from the year prior. Now, here is the facts. That price drop isn't about distressed sellers. It's about supply outpacing demand. And honestly, a lot of buyers are still sitting on the sidelines. Why, you ask? Because even though rates have come down slightly, the average Greater Toronto Area household are still struggling to qualify for an average priced home. And that's the reality. In a prior video, I mentioned that in order for affordability to come down to reality, rates have to come down by at least 1%. And let me show you what I mean. We always hear that we need more affordable homes, and many don't break down why and frankly how bad affordability is right now. And I'll give you an example with current rates. I pulled a real mortgage rate for an average price Greater Toronto Area home listed for $1,020,000. With a 10% down payment, you're financing about $918,000. At a 5-year fixed rate of 4.14 from a major Canadian bank, your monthly payment comes to around $5,051. Now let's put this into context because this is important. The average single income in Toronto right now is about $59,800 per year. So let's just say $60,000. That's before tax. So if you're a single income household, your entire housing payment, mortgage only, not including taxes, insurance, utilities, or maintenance, would eat up over 100% of your take-home pay. Financial planners typically recommend spending no more than 30 to 35% of your gross income on housing. In fact, CMHC defines housing as unaffordable if you're spending more than that. So what if we add a total household gross income of $120,000? So let's just say a couple, each person made up the average of $60,000 income. In the example of the mortgage payment of $5,051 a month, it would eat up over 50% of their gross household income. So let's translate that. That household would not qualify under today's rules. Most lenders require that housing costs not exceed 32 to 39% of your gross income, including mortgage, property tax, and heat. At 50%, they're well above the threshold, even before accounting for other debts like your car loan, credit cards, etc. So what are we doing here? We are quite frankly pricing out the middle class, and not slowly, but rapidly. And just a disclaimer, this is the middle class that did not enter the market before all this frenzy started. This affordability crisis didn't just fall from the sky either. Here's how we got here. For years, we had ultra low interest rates, and that created a false sense of what buyers could actually afford. Like, people literally thought that rates in around the 3% were normal, very low. Investors flooded the market chasing inflation hedges and passive income. Meanwhile, supply kept falling behind demand by tens of thousands of homes every single year. And now, after one of the fastest rate hikes that we've seen in many years, we've hit the brick wall. Buyers are frozen, sellers are stubborn, and governments, they're scrambling to play catch up with policies that should have been implemented over a decade ago. So even with the so-called price correction that we're experiencing right now, affordability hasn't really improved. And that's why you're seeing more listings, fewer sales, and an eerie sense of market limbo. Back in the frenzy, people had minutes to make decisions. Now buyers are thinking twice. They're not even moving on homes they love. I've personally had 4 agents call me on different properties saying that they have a very interested buyer, and then all of a sudden they disappear because the buyer more than likely crunched the numbers and got cold feet, or maybe they didn't sell their home. That's a big one because people have a house to sell, and if they don't sell their house, they can't move forward. That hesitation isn't just emotion, guys, it's economic. So yes, inflation it went down and now it's back up. And yes, we got some interest rate relief, but we're still in an affordability crisis. And if you think affordability will just magically return when rates drop, think again, because as soon as borrowing gets cheaper, prices tend to jump. And we always mention this, and this is big, corporations are quietly scooping up more units. And not just condos, single family dwellings too. Not too many people expose the truth here. Taking supply meant for families like yours and mine, and they're turning them into rental supply. This trend needs to stop. We don't need more rentals. People want home ownership. And quite frankly, it's humorous when people comment saying this is not true. Well, my advice to those people, research before you comment. Okay, so now let's get back to the mortgage example. Getting approved if you don't have a substantial down payment is becoming, obviously, it's challenging. While a lot of existing home buyers are the ones moving in this market, you're hearing a lot of sellers are now accepting lower offers, and that's completely true because fewer buyers qualify and more buyers have homes sitting unsold that need to be offloaded. This is creating the stall or the stale market that we're in right now. So yes, the correction is real, but so is the opportunity. Some have a lot of opportunity, for example, like upsizers. Let me break that down. If you're moving up from a $750,000 condo to a $1.2 million detached, that 5% price drop saves you a lot more on the higher ticketed item. This is the term you hear relative. So if you sell low, you buy low. An opportunity lies for investors. Rents have held strong in some areas, not all, and some have actually climbed. But here's the thing, guys. The GTA market is still fragmented. Don't get me wrong. In some neighborhoods, only 1 in 10 homes are selling, and others maybe 2 in 10. Micro factors matter, like schools, transit access, builder reputation, and even social buzz. So if you're shopping or listing right now, you need hyper local data, not just headlines. One size doesn't fit all here. And I have to add, new construction is getting more expensive, period. Materials, labor, financing, all costs are under pressure. That means fewer launches, delays, and less affordable housing hitting the market. And the ones that do, they're very pricey. So, is the market crashing? It all depends on who you ask, because some would describe price drops are crashing with the addition of slow movement of home selling. And depending on who you ask, they could see the glass is half empty or maybe the glass is half full. Some see more downward pressure and decide to sit back and wait, while others see prime opportunity to negotiate a deal of their lifetime. So which one are you? I'm going to end this here. Stay informed, stay curious, because what happens in the next 5 years will shape the greater Toronto area real estate market. And I'm peeled to the data because, like everyone else, you can only speculate the path forward. Or maybe you're like me, looking for clues from the next wave of information. So stick around for more episodes with no fluff breakdowns of this crazy market that we call home, because I've never seen anything like this in the last 20 years. If you found this video helpful, hit subscribe. It helps get this video to more people. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.